Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Chantel. This is my basic journey. Usually I'm traveling around in my minivan with my dog Joey, but I just recently bought a brand new van. It's going to be bigger and better, and I'm building it out to be the perfect mini home for me, but the weather has been very crappy, so I have not been able to get to it. So I figured this week I could answer all of the questions that you guys had, because I got so many questions on that video, and when I posted it to my community board, I got even more questions. So I'm going to try and answer as many as I can, and if I don't get to your question, I am so sorry, but there was a lot. And I kind of broke it down into 3 different categories, because there's like 3 main categories you guys were asking questions about. So Joey, my dog, is one of them, the new van, and then van life and my minivan, and just things in general like that. So I figured we could start with Joey. I've actually made a video just about Joey and living in a van with a dog, but I figured since there's a lot more new people since that video came out, I could answer some of the main ones that I get all the time, because that's one of the main things I get questions about, is having a dog in a van. So let's start with Joey. How did Joey like living in the van when we first moved into it, and how long did it take him to adjust? So I'm not gonna lie, you guys, Joey and I have been outdoorsy, adventurous people since I got him as a puppy. So he's pretty much used to camping and being outside and going on adventures. As far as living in the van, I think even in the first couple days, he was like, okay, this is home now. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we moved a lot, and so he's just kind of used to it. So the adjustment period is a lot shorter than maybe an animal that has lived in a house, in the same house, for its entire life. I think it would be harder to adjust to a mobile lifestyle if it's used to being stationary. What do you do when it's hot outside? Is it difficult to get groceries, shop, or do laundry when you have a dog? So this is the number one question that I get when it comes to having a dog in my van. And unfortunately, my answer is not going to be pleasing for everybody, because I'm usually in places that are not hot all day long. Even in the dead of summer, it can still get down to 30 degrees in the mountains overnight. And so in the morning, it's 40 and 50 degrees. So I can go and do all of my errands early in the morning before it gets too hot in the afternoon. Now I know that there are a lot of places, especially in the southeast or even the east coast or in the Midwest here, where you can wake up some days in the summer and it's 80 degrees. And so my only advice for this is to try to go somewhere where it's not hot all day long. So think higher elevations, go into the mountains. That's my only advice for that. And I'm so sorry, it's not this is the answer for you. How often do you have to stop on long trips to let your dog go outside? So I usually have to stop for gas, actually, before I have to stop to let Joey out. So I stop for gas every 2 or 3 hours, and then just let him out when I'm doing that. Last question for Joey is, what was his reaction to the new van? It's very bare right now. I took out most of the things, and it's kind of messy because I have a lot of stuff just laying around that I took off of the walls. So he wasn't that thrilled about it. He kind of just sat there what are we doing in here? But I think he likes it. He will once it's built out and his little home's in there. So now I'm going to answer some of the questions about the new van that you guys had. And number one question that I'm getting is if I have plans for what the inside is going to look like. And the answer is yes. I am a very planny person. I plan everything. So I've actually have a little 3D sketch of how I want the inside to look, every single detail. I am so excited about it. So yes, I do have plans. Next, you guys wanted to know if I'm going to get a roof vent or AC or heating, and the answer is I am going to get a roof vent. I have already gotten a max air fan. I am not going to have AC besides what is already stock in my van, and I'm not going to have heating besides what is already stock in my van. But once again, I do travel with the weather, so I'm never somewhere that is really that cold. I usually just go to the desert where the coldest weather I saw was 28 degrees, and that is totally manageable in a van with blankets. Do you have a color scheme picked out? Yes, I do. I am probably going to go with more neutral, natural colors. So I want to do more of white, brown, and greenish colors with maybe some bronzy accents. What are you most excited about for the new van? I'm most excited about having a fridge and having a toilet. Who's Dave and is he doing the build for you? So Dave is actually a family friend. He's kind of like my second dad. He's my parents' best friends and I grew up with him and his family. His kids and I grew up together, so we're just like kind of a close-knit family over here. And is he doing the build for me? He's going to be helping me with some of the things in the build. He's going to be helping me with cutting a hole in my roof for the roof vent, and then he's also going to be helping me with my solar and the wiring. So he is going to be helping me with some things. Also, I thought it would be nice to mention, some people were upset that they didn't get to see the removal of the lift in my van. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it either. He needed a different tool and left with my van to the garage and worked on it and then brought it back for me. So I'm sorry that you guys didn't get to see that. I really am, but it's out of there. That's all I really care about. It was something that I wasn't able to do on my own, so I'm just very grateful he was able to do it for me. How long do you hope to take on the build for the new van? So I'm hoping that I can get it done in like 3 months. That is what I'm hoping for. I'm already behind schedule because of the weather, but it's getting warmer already, so it should be fine. Where are you going when the new van is done? The plan is to go to Colorado. This next question is the last question that I have about the new van, and it kind of ties into the next category, which is about my minivan and just van life in general. So is there anything from the old build that you're going to be putting into the new build? So I'm not going to be saving really anything from my minivan. Besides my filing cabinet, I am going to be putting the filing cabinet into the new van, which isn't that exciting. It's just a filing cabinet. But the rest of it, I think that I'm going to try and sell my minivan as a already converted minivan. And so I'm probably just going to leave everything else in there, which is the next question, by the way. What are your plans for the old van? I am going to try and sell it. I've already had a lot of interest in it, and it's going to be a while before I'm actually ready to sell, but you guys will be the first to know when that happens. Next up, I had a lot of questions and concerns about my Jackery. And I understand your guys' concern for wanting me to keep the Jackery. However, that thing is massive, and I kind of explained this in a pinned comment on the post of the video that you guys are referring to. But I figured that I could just verbally tell you guys so you guys know where I'm coming from when it comes to not wanting to keep my old Jackery. So the Jackery that I have is the Jackery 1000, and the thing is freaking massive. I'm talking it's like this big, and it's 22 pounds. It's huge. And so I'm not saying that I don't want a Jackery at all. I just don't want that big of one. Both of my solar panels do not work on it. Even if I had both of the solar panels in direct sunlight, it takes about 8 hours to charge it with the solar panels. If it was plugged into a wall, it takes about 8 to 10 hours to charge it to 100%. If I'm charging it through my van, so like through the 12-volt plug, it takes about 20 hours, you guys, to charge that thing up to 100%. 20 hours of driving. When I'm traveling, I usually don't go more than like 2 or 3 hours between locations. And so it's really just not ideal for me to keep it unless if I wanted to get brand new solar panels, which would be around $500 from Jackery. So I figured that it would be a lot easier for me to just get one solar panel and a smaller Jackery for the same price and have it not take up as much room, still be able to like have that extra portable battery just in case the solar isn't working for whatever reason, right? So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I hope that clears that up for you guys, but it's just not ideal to keep it for me. It's not practical to have it. There's no way that I could charge it up enough without having both solar panels. And even if I had both solar panels, it's freaking massive and I have no idea where I'd put it. So I think if I could get a smaller one, like either the 240, I think is the one that they had. I think they recently changed it. Maybe it's a 300 now instead of the 1000, just to have that extra oomph. But yeah, the Jackery 1000 is probably gonna go, and you guys wanna know what I'm gonna do with it. I might end up giving it to one of my patrons, like I did with my other Jackery, my smaller one. All right, there's only a couple more questions left, and the next one has to do with being on YouTube. They asked, does being a YouTuber pass the time? Does it give you daily inspiration, or is it just a way to earn money? I love making videos. I've been on YouTube for about 3 years now. It's been my daily breadwinner for about 2. I genuinely love making videos. There are times where I'm not as inspired, which I feel like any occupation, you go through those phases where you just kind of like, oh, I just don't want to do this today. But overall, I love my job and I love creating videos. It's just a passion of mine, so I love it. So this last question kind of ties in with that. They want to know if I'll take a part-time job again while being a nomad or if I'll just stick with YouTube. And honestly, if I don't have to get another job again, I won't. Like, I love YouTube. I love what I'm doing. I have other streams coming in. It's not just from YouTube. I've made an entire video about it. So if you're interested in seeing where else my money comes from, you can go check out that video. So even though the majority of my money does come from YouTube, I do have a lot of other streams. So I do have a Patreon, I have merch and stickers and an Etsy. That all of those links are all in the description box if you want to check those out and help support my channel. So I just want to say thank you to you guys for being here and watching, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this and I would not be able to live the life that I want to. I'm very grateful and very blessed to be here. So thank you so much for all of your questions. And if you watched the video all the way through to this point, thank you. I hope I got to most of your questions. You guys can always leave more questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer them. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to yours, but thank you so much for watching this. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please subscribe below. I'll also put a link for my Patreon in the description box in case you want to check that out and help support my channel. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!